Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, you are welcome, and if you are returning, welcome back. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, what am I seeing? Hey, what am I seeing? Anyway, I wish you saw what I was seeing. It was such an ugly sight. But anyway, guys, today I'm in a different location, as you can see, but still I want to talk about issues of life that we have always been discussing, what happened then, and how can you assist those that are there today not to fall in the deepest of holes that most of us fell, or most of them fell those days. Yes, we are talking about those days that you are growing up, and how you managed to survive the love issues. Then how did you go about it? Did you get trapped? Did you get a child out of wedlock? Did you were you cheated? We usually say being cheated. Were you cheated by that person who was not serious with you? Did you manage to maybe escape the wrath of your parents who are really tough on you? And how did you cope with that? Did you use your brother's cubicles to invite your boyfriends there? What happened? Did you did you fight with your mother concerning your boyfriends? Did your mother encourage you at one time to be able to love, or to even have a boyfriend? Was your mother looking at that family that you should get married to? And that is what we are discussing today. Okay, our mothers wanted us to get married where there are very big farms, and farms are shambas, so that we could be said to have married in wealthy families, because nobody wants their children to suffer. So when our mothers wanted us to go to those families, is because they knew once you have a farm, you will never lack, because you can always farm and sell the products from the farm, the produce from the farm. So our mothers used to want us to get married in those homes, and I want to tell you a story about mothers who never wanted their daughters to date families that are poor. I would do the same if I had a daughter who is trying to date a family member who is a family that is very, very poor. I would want the best for my daughter. So those days we used to be asked whenever we are going out, where are you going? And we could lie to our mothers that we are going to church, we are going for youth camps, we are going for church meetings. And that is on Sunday afternoons, because it was the only day that we were allowed to go out of the compound. And with a reason, we would be permitted to step out, and we would say, okay, we are going to perform in the youth church in the afternoon, or to practice for the following Sunday, and our mothers would allow us to go. But little did our mothers never allowed us to go and meet our boyfriends. It was a no-go zone. It was a no-no. They would not have allowed us to do that. So there was a time that uh, our mother asked, where are you going? And I had a date with my boyfriend, who was from a very poor family. But he was a very handsome guy. He was very, very handsome. And I was like, I'm going to meet my boyfriend. I had to say that because I knew I loved him so much. He was a few years older than me, and he was through with the university. He was actually looking for a job, and everybody loved this guy in the village. Those sons that are loved by all mothers. And every mother that meets them on the road says, oh, how are you, my son? Every mother wanted to identify with him. So I had noticed that my mom was very fond of him, and I had said, okay, this boy, this man, I'm gonna tune him. I'm gonna be smiling at him whenever we meet, and I'll see whether he'll approach me and maybe ask me to be his girlfriend. And it happened, and he one time asked me if I could have a thing with him, and I said yes immediately, because I really loved this guy. And he was mature, he was a Christian. We used to go to the youth camp together, and youth church, and and he was very disciplined, but the family was very, very poor. So this time I requested my mom, and I said, okay, this Sunday afternoon I want to go and meet so and so. His name was George, and I want to go and meet George. And I expected the worst because I tried that before with another guy, and my mom had beaten me bad, and said, I'll never want to hear such stories from you. I don't want you to go and get pregnant and start bringing children here to me to bring up. So, and she told me, never will I ever want to hear that you're going to meet a boy. But this particular time, I was, because of the fondness that I had noticed with my mom, I was ready to be told a yes or a no, and I knew my mom would say yes. So I requested my mom that I'd go and meet George, and she asked where, and I said George had invited me to go and have a soda with him. It is not about church. I had to be very, very honest that it had nothing to do with church. And mom was like, what are you meeting about? A soda. I said, a soda. Why? And I said, oh, because George has invited me and has said that he likes me and he wants me to go and have a soda with him. And my mom was like, so you think in your thick head that I can permit you to go and meet George, to go and have sodas there, and then you do other things and you come here bringing me children? And I said, but mom, you know how responsible George is. I am sure that George will just buy me a soda, that is that. But my mom was not like buying that at all. So I was told, grow up and behave and get to know that I don't want anything to do with that poor family. George is a very good guy, but when I look at your future, I see a very bright future ahead of you, and I don't want it ruined by George. I want you to be to have an affair with so and so. He mentioned another family whose son was never even looked at me, and the son was they are very wealthy in the locality, in the village. That was the only known family that had vehicles in the compound when people get sick in the night. That is the family we were going to try and request that they can come and take our sick people to hospitals, because they are the only people that had vehicles. And you could wake them up in the night and they would refuse to wake up. Yet you are crying that your dad is very sick, he's not breathing, but they would say, I'm sleeping. And I said, I don't want to be bothered. Yet my mom wanted me to have an affair with that son of that family because they were wealthy. So I told my mom, I decided now this is the time to take my mom to task. And I said, Mom, how can George invite me and you refuse me to go? And you know how good-mannered George is. And my mom told me, you know what? I'm not going to buy that. If it were David is the son of the wealthy family. If it were David that was inviting me for a soda, I would understand. But now George, where did he even get money to buy you that soda? Where did he get? The way they are poor. And I said, but mom, you have always said that George is a very good person. You always call him your son. How come you are refusing me to go and drink a soda with him? And mom said, no. The day that David will ask you out, please come and tell me, and I'll give you permission to go with them and have a soda and even enjoy an afternoon with them. And I was very sad. So it was actually declined, and I was very sad. So George also wasn't happy, because when George asked me to go and ask for permission, you know George is so transparent. He had said, go and request your mom, because I know your mom likes me and he understands I'm mature. She understands, she understands that I'm mature, so she will not refuse you. I'm double sure that she will not. And instead of sneaking out, just ask for permission so that we take our time together, we get to know each other better, and we may take our relationship to the next level. Excuse me for that. So guys, I was asking my mom with a lot of confidence because I knew she would permit me, but she blatantly refused. It was very sad, and George was very saddened, and he said, okay, if your parents have refused you to go, I will not risk sneaking out with you, because I'm mature and I don't like that. I like transparency, and I thought they would bless our togetherness, maybe, or our beginning, because I have a thing with you, and I was hoping that our parents, both mine and yours, would bless what we want or we intend to start. So I was very sad. So actually spent a whole day a whole afternoon in bed crying, and my mom would come and scold me and tell me, get out, what are you crying about? I told you will not have an affair with poor people. And George is a good person, but I don't want anything to do with that poor family. Yet we were poor ourselves. Anyway, so I tried when after crying for many weekends, I tried to go to the youth camp with with David, the son of the rich family. But David had many girls and was not even looking at me. David did not even like me. David did not even think that I was beautiful. David never asked me out. David never even looked at me, and my mom was always asking, "Yani, you are very unattractive. You cannot be able to entice David to become your boyfriend." And I was like, "Mom, how do I entice somebody to become a boyfriend, a girlfriend to them, if they have not asked me?" Gone are the days. Those days, it was the man that could approach a lady, and even today, although some girls these days are very aggressive, they come and approach a man. But those days it was you have to be approached. If not, then you are not lucky. So I was there, very sad, and David never asked me out. And time went, and time went, and finally we were invited for a wedding. We received a card for a wedding invitation that David was getting married to our neighbor's daughter, who was very beautiful, more beautiful than I was. And when we received the card, that is the time now I locked myself inside the house, crying and crying and crying and blaming my mom. And mom would find me sad and ask me, "What's wrong with you?" And I would say, "It's because David did not like me. And the person who liked me, you declined my engagement with him, and now there he is. He has already taken another girl." And my mom was like, "Look for another wealthy family's son, and I will not bow to that, because even the next one you get, I'll have to check how that family is before allowing you to have anything with them." So time went and time went and time went, and all the handsome boys in the village got married. And there was no boy that mom was allowing me to interact with that was poor. And most of the poor neighbors were my neighbors. Most of the poor guys were my neighbors because we were also poor. And I looked at all boys that approached me. I would go and tell mom, because now there is no way I would have sneaked, and I would go and tell mom, "And mom, how about Samuel? Samuel has asked me out." And mom would say, Samuel's family is as poor as ours. How do you want to live a poor life here, and then you go and live a poor life in future? I'm telling you to look for a wealthy boy. And guys, I waited and waited and waited. All the boys got married, and a time came when I now left the village also to go and look for a job in the city. And I never got a boy to marry me. I never got a boy to marry me from the wealthy families, because there were some, they were also, they were also looking, and I think their parents were also advising them that they should not get married to poor girls. So as much as I wanted to get married, the poverty in us as a family became an issue, and I was very, very unlucky. So guys, I ended up single for many years, many years. And the last time when I later visited the village, when I was now turning 33, and still childless and still unmarried, my mom was very ashamed, because all the girls my age had children, had even those that were married by poor people had gotten jobs, and they also, the people that married them went to the city and they found jobs, and now they were doing so well. But there I was, still single and unmarried, and still single, meaning unmarried and childless. So guys, don't dictate to your children, let them decide what they want in this life. Okay, jigera on the side. Totirarutana nyuma ndoro-ini. So guys, I've gotten a guest, and now please subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Umeingia.
Nimewasili.